Hello everyone, I am Xerix Lord Sentinel, and welcome back to CoEC 2019. The new Spanish gold ships get straight to work, making a beeline for the Medicine Island. Almost all of them have 7 or more cargo as a result of the 2 Biancos. The Raven sets out to join her new fleet mates. The Fiddler's Green is still stuck with rum, but the Urchin is bound for the Hidden Cove. Vloa's Justice has finally docked there and explored for the Cursed. This would allow the Urchin to dock at the hidden docks on the back of the island. The Frontier and Nene Nui set out with intent to find new islands and resources for the Americans. The Nene Nui has retained her explorer from the start of the game, and the Frontier will be able to use her hoist to explore islands. The Americans use some more of their cached resources and launch the President, with Fleet Admiral Captain Stephen Rogers. The pirates try to figure out what to do to get the Bloody Jewel back to functionality. The Bonnie Liz is heading for Kanohi, while in the background the Banshee's Cry is heading back to Tutorial Island, or to Voyanui. The English finally have some resources on their home island, but are now noticing the absence of the Raven. The Intrepid explores a gold island in the northwest, and is able to completely drain the island of all its coins. The French fleet is small, but growing. The Dijon, Cour, and Triton are all homebound, while Le Mercure heads toward the Medicine Island. Sailing south, the Peak has found the Split Island, and found finished goods on the other half of it. The French are as yet unaware of the pirates who have also explored it. The Americans and pirates meet, sort of. The Frontier and Nene Nui spot the Banshee's Cry, and the Cry sees them. Elsewhere in American waters, the canoes in Providence have loaded lumber from Kanohi, while the President and Rogers set out, surveying what can be seen. The Carolina and Rattlesnake have nearly reached the finished goods island. Fearing that the Americans might be hostile, the Banshee's Cry alters her route and goes around the gold island the Bloody Jewel had previously visited, trying to put as much distance between her and the Frontier as possible. Back home, the pirates launch 2 ships, the Amity with Don, a Pedro Gilbert, and a helmsman and oarsman, and the Orca, with the express intent of taking on the plague. The canoes are returning home, while the Bonnie Liz has explored Kanohi for the pirates. The Rattlesnake and Carolina load finished goods from Pyramid Island. With 2 valuable islands nearby, the Americans are feeling good about their chances. The Frontier comes around Pyramid Island and sets her sights on the gold island behind it. The Aberdeen Baron also has eyes for this island, but the Americans will get there first. The Nene Nui carries on and splits off from the Frontier, looking to follow the Banshee's Cry. The French are busy, trying to gather as much gold as they can, as fast as they can. To do this, they've launched a few more ships to help in their efforts. A French squadron passes by Skull Rock, with the Dark Pack returning home in the background. The Spanish begin to diversify, with some ships heading to Pride Rock for metals. The Cursed are bringing in some gold, though not as much as compared to some of the other factions. The Urchin seems to be heading toward Voyanui, but the Banshee's Cry is already in the bay and is much faster. The Americans work out their logistics with their canoes, as the Carolina and Rattlesnake return with finished goods. With her hoist arm, the Frontier explores the Gold Island, finding some nice coins and a special 100 value coin. The Nene Nui scouts the area around Tutorial Island, and is considering docking there next turn. The Bloody Jewel is operational once again and passes the Bonnie Liz on her way out. With incredible speed and ghost ship, the Amity enters Voyanui Bay with the Banshee's Cry, and looks to make land at the beach. The London is returning from a trip back to Hidden Cove, while the Aberdeen Baron comes about, frustrated that she was beaten to the Gold Island by the Frontier. The French add to their growing fleet by putting Le Favori and the Belle Étoile into the water. The Spanish gold system is humming along smoothly, with massive amounts of medicine piling up on their home island. Realizing that medicine will not always be valuable, the Spanish begin to gather not as valuable resources such as metal for use later. The stack of medicine on the Spanish home island is ridiculously tall. Keep in mind, each token is worth 6 gold. The Spanish cash in their massive amounts of medicine and launch, El Rafael with a helmsman, the Ventura with a helmsman, the Cazador del Parata with a helmsman, La Mesquita with a helmsman, Santa Ana from South China Seas with a helmsman, the Aguila with a helmsman, El Cervantes with a helmsman, the San Theodora with a helmsman, the Profeta de la Fortuna from Fiends of the Blood Islands, and La Muerta Rapida from Return of Davy Jones. The Cursed crawl to home with some more gold for their plans. The Americans cash in their stocks of lumber and finished goods, but do not launch anything, yet. They are waiting for the return of the Frontier and the 100 gold coins she carries in her hold before making any launches. The Nene Nui explores Tutorial Island for the Americans and loads 2 spices. In the background, the Urchin is rounding the reefs and preparing to enter Voyunui Bay. The Coral explores an untouched gold island and finds some shiny coins, among other things. The President and Rogers observe the pirates from afar, both sides wary of the other. The Amity is the first to explore Voyunui. She explores the number 3 stack, finding some nice shiny silver and Celestin's charts. The Banshee's Cry followed suit as well, exploring a different stack and finding a 100 value coin, leaving her explorer on the beach to make room for the valuable coin. The French concentrate on the Medicine Island, unaware that they've been sharing it with the Spanish. French ships go about their operations, with some heading to and returning from Flat Top, while others venture back to Triangle. The Dijon and Cour are among the ones returning to the Triangle, and loading the finished goods that the island produces. To end their turn, the French launch La Auguste from Crimson Coast. With that, the round of value is ended, and new ones were needed. The dice were rolled and a 2 and a 5 came up. The value of medicine dropped sharply, becoming almost worthless, while the value of metals and spices skyrocketed. The Spanish retarget their gold fleet, which swarms Pride Rock. Back home, the 2 hoists load town and port tokens, as well as a 100 value coin and a colonizer crew. The Cursed are going slowly but have plans that are coming into motion. With the resource change, finished goods cease to be as valuable, dropping to 2 gold apiece, while lumber remains semi-valuable at 3. As such, the Americans now focus almost solely on the lumber that Kanohi Island produces. The Frontier is almost home with her haul of gold, which will give the Americans some spending power. With the Metals Island in their back pocket, the pirates begin to focus in and send available ships to bring in their resource. The Banshee's Cry spots the Urchin and makes ready to leave, while the Amity holds her ground. The English spend some gold to get a captain for the London. Even though the beach area is large, not all the Spanish ships can dock at Pride Rock at once. The Spanish are quickly building an enormous war chest. A new stack of metals begins to grow on the Spanish home island, as the fleet continues to operate and bring in tons of gold. The Cursed move some UTs around and refine their plans. The Nene Nui passes the Orca on her way back to the American home island. The Orca appears lifeless and deserted, which mystifies and frightens the crew of the Nene Nui. Rogers positions himself on the eastern side of Kanohi to keep an eye on the pirates. The American fleet concentrates on Kanohi, which has become the primary resource island for the Americans. With that in mind, the Americans begin to think of ways to defend it, should the need arise. With their savings back home, the Americans launch 3 ships: the Sea Wind, Harlequin, and Silver Dollar from Return of Davy Jones, each with a helmsman. The pirates land the Bloody Jewel and Bonnie Liz at the shipwreck pathway, and load up on metals. The Banshee's Cry and Amity are approaching home, along with the Coral, while the Princess turns south to the Metals Island. At the end of their turn, the pirates launch the Rising Sun with Havana Black and a helmsman. The French have grown well, but now face a challenge with finished goods almost worthless, and lumber not enough to fund their immediate plans. On top of their other problems, medicine is now no longer valuable as well, reducing their sources of income. Despite that, they scrape together every last penny they have and launch the Neptune, with Capitaine Bajuan de la Flotte and Monsieur Morel. The Spanish place a town on the Medicine Island, thereby claiming the island for the Spanish and denying access to all others. The Spanish gold fleet is operating in full swing. Almost every ship is or has docked at the Metals Island. The concentration of ships is intense. The Curse suddenly realized that instead of going around, they could have been going through the whirlpool by their home island to get to Voyanui. The Fritters Green joins the Urchin in the bay, and looks to explore. The American canoes and their other ships dock at Kanuhi Island and load up with lumber, while Rogers keeps a vigilant eye on the pirates. Only the fastest and most capacious take part in the lumber gathering. The slower and less capacious are assigned to bring in finished goods. The Rattlesnake and Harlequin run for finished goods and pass the Nenenui, coming back with spices. The Coral docks home, revealing the hidden Trovuti, which is worth 2 times the total number of ships in play. Counting deck plates reveals that there are 64 ships already in play, which when doubled resulted in 121 gold for the pirates. Some French ships come home, dropping off meager amounts of gold. And that wraps up this report. The pirates have now given themselves a massive amount of gold, but the Spanish have a much better system in place, and are getting rich quick. To see what happens next, make sure you're subscribed. If you liked what you saw, hit that like button. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.